All right, what is going on? Link to the cure. I hope everyone's having a great Sunday morning. We're making it even better with some Sunday morning cartoons. Welcome to Spongebob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. I'm Jessway. I'm going to be on commentary for you guys, and I've got Rubbertoe here, who's going to be the runner for you guys.
Hi everyone, it's me, Ruba, also known as Rubber Toe. I'm gonna be doing the run. Hopefully, I'm derusted enough.
I believe in you. I believe in you.
Thank you, thank you.
Don't let Rubber trick you. Rubber has been number 2 on the leaderboards for I think 6 years. Anyone who knows this run knows how big of a deal that is. So you guys are in for a treat. This is a pretty trick dense run with a lot of cool stuff going on. So it's going to be our pleasure to introduce you to this game. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. You want to count down, Rubber?
Yeah, sure, I can do a countdown starting
Yeah.
from like what, 30? Like
Just
30,
give me a
29, to nah.
get yourself in the headset.
Wait, why did that go off? What the heck? No! No! I have it off! What?
That's okay. It should be fine.
Okay, well,
Yeah, let's just do a 5-second countdown.
okay.
All right,
5,
chat.
4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so we're gonna get into it. So if you don't know about Battle for Bikini Bottom, this is basically a 3D collectathon platformer that came out in 2003. It's like a love letter to the first few seasons of the show that had come out by that time. The plot is basically Plankton built a army of robots that kicked him out of the chum bucket and have taken over Bikini Bottom. They're wreaking havoc. So we're gonna get started here in SpongeBob's Pineapple. So in this game, it is a collectathon, so you're collecting stuff. Golden spatulas are the major collectible of the game. They're basically like the star/time sprite equivalents, and then you have these like blue coins, Patrick stock equivalents as well. So the first trick is already coming up here. This is called Hans Disable. So basically, Hans from the show will grab you whenever you go out of bounds. However, if you get grabbed by him into an active loading zone, basically the game flags that get checked whenever SpongeBob goes into out of bounds areas will like no longer trigger Hans grabbing you from those out of bounds areas, and so that's going to immediately, as you guys are going to see here, allow us to start going into places that we shouldn't necessarily be going into. So normally this is a like bungee spat where SpongeBob gets grabbed by his underwear, but using Hans Disable, we're able to skip an invisible out of bounds box that's there that will grab him and just directly collect the spatula, unlocking a warp that will give us our first sequence break of the run. And there's going to be more of that coming up. So that was actually a 1 frame, 1/60th of a second jump. Here we're going to do hammer skip. This is going to be a damage boost. It's going to get us over this ledge for another sequence break. And there it is. The first area of Jellyfish Fields done in, what was that, like 40 seconds?
Yeah.
So the early game of this run is characterized by a lot of cool damage boosts, as well as some 1 frame jumps. So to explain those, basically, there is a single frame after SpongeBob gets his damage animation completed, where if you put in a jump, the game thinks SpongeBob is grounded, and so you're able to perform the normal double jump, whereas usually when you get damaged, you only get a single jump back. So, all right, here we're gonna do Dilemma Skip. So this is a damage boost. So basically, you're supposed to destroy all of these Duplicatatrons, which spawn robots. But what Rubber's gonna do is he's just gonna say no. We're gonna damage boost over the gap and use a bubble bash with the coyote time frames from sliding off the ledge to get a fast damage boost. All right, so here, that was actually Rubber setting up a trick for later in the run. It's called the spatula duplication. So in this game, there's a couple trade-ins that you can do, but Mr. Krabs is a big one. Mr. Krabs will sell you golden spatulas. His quest for greed knows no end. So he will sell you golden spatulas in exchange for shiny objects, which are this game's currency, basically. And there's a weird quirk with him. where you can basically reset the counter of how many spatulas he sold you if you talk to him without enough shiny objects to buy a spatula under certain conditions. So you'll see us use that here in a little bit.
Imagine me having to explain all that stuff while running. Like, there's no way, dude. Oh, man.
Yeah, this game is really, really broken. And it's really broken in really cool fun ways. If you guys haven't checked out this run, I'm glad to be able to be showing it to you now. So one thing that Rubber's keeping in mind here as he's doing this is that in order to set up that crabs duplication later, the route is pretty tight because you have to have a specific tight number of shiny objects going into the latter half of the early game, or else the duplication will fail because you'll have too many shiny objects and you won't be able to reset the crab's flags. I'm gonna take my sip of my water here really quick.
You've been talking for about 4 minutes straight, so yeah.
I told you, dude. This is the auctioneer's game.
Hey, we have the next.
All right,
thing,
so
yeah.
this is so what Rubbertoe is about to perform is Spongebob storage. So basically, this is going to give him big uppies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So to kind of explain that, basically he delays the Spongebob transformation and stores it by double jumping to delay it and transform on the Tiki stack, which will displace him upwards. And then when he leaves the Spongebob, basically for a single frame, Spongebob will try to move the distance between where he originally transformed and where he would have untransformed if he had stayed on that platform, which gives him huge momentum for that singular frame. And if you jump on that frame, then you get what I can scientifically describe as big uppies. So here he's performing a strat called vertical momentum storage. So basically, if you pause on that frame that I just described, you can move the displacement velocity between loading zones and carry it between warps in order to get big uppies in the next area. All right.
Yeah.
So the next part here, I'm going to briefly talk about since this is just a little bit of downtime. He is setting up, getting these minor collectibles. So each level has a minor collectible as well, not just the socks. In downtown, it's a bunch of wheels because the robots have stolen all the steering wheels in Bikini Bottom. And so he's setting up for this trick called collectible counter abuse. Basically, for one frame, when you switch levels while warping, the level collectible counter gets carried over. And you'll see later how that becomes relevant. We're basically going to store the counter from a different level and bring it over to a new level in order to exploit that and get some spatulas for free. All right, I took my breather.
Yeah.
So this is the lighthouse. This is pretty much just like a combat section. SpongeBob has a few moves. He's got a bubble wand that you can use to attack people, and he has a ground pound called the bubble bounce that he can use. And as you saw in Jellyfish Fields, he also has a upwards bubble helmet bash that he can use to hit enemies above him. So this is all kind of going to become super relevant later in the run, but he's got a few moves at his disposal. Quite a versatile sponge.
Very versatile. Yeah.
All right, so here we're going to set up another Spongebob displacement storage and perform vertical momentum storage to get some big uppies going into Bikini Bottom. So this is a one frame. And he gets it first try. You're crazy. I could never.
It's good height
so
too.
A lot of this, yeah, it is good height too. A lot of tricks in this are one frames. So this is kind of like this is the highest level, and you know, rubber is just good enough that it doesn't need to be marathon safe. I don't know if it is, but
It's fine.
All right, so this is Rollbuck. Basically, we're gonna take advantage of some invisible geometry and the sponge balls kind of slipperier physics to get some extra height and skip into the next area of the game. So this is going to be SpongeBob's Dream. There's a lot of wacky stuff that happens here. So the first thing that Rubber's going to do here is called Super Bounce Skip. So he's going to catch a little ledge on that block to sequence break save, having to spend I think it's like 1,600 shinies in order to unlock the trampolines that you would get that with normally. And then unlock a warp here that he's going to use later once we have access to more advanced movement tech later in the run. And then this is a small sequence break. With Hans disable, we are able to do this. You'll actually get grabbed if you don't disable Hans trying to do this, but we did, so he won't. So there's a small checkpoint trigger here that you kind of got to jump very precisely to hit. We're going to try to respawn on top of the nut there to get a golden spatula. Shout out to Sky.
Shout out Sky. Yep. Okay.
All right, there it is. Yeah, you didn't miss the trigger. All right, so that's the first section of SpongeBob's Dream. All right, we're going to go into the Krusty Krab here. The Krusty Krab has been infested with robots, and it is SpongeBob's job to defeat the robots.
The robots.
This is like one of the few sections of this run that has a little bit of RNG based on how the laser robots at the bottom kind of group together. All right, so this is the first part of the Krabs dupe. So you buy a spatula from Mr. Krabs here, as well as get the one that he granted you for clearing the Krusty Krab, and then you talk to him here. And by talking to him here, we have successfully duplicated a single spatula. Basically, by talking to him, we reset his grant flag so that he thinks that he's given us nothing, and we'll be able to buy 8 more spatulas from him later in the run. So there are 2 dupe spatulas that we get in this route. And I will mention the next dupe when it comes. Give Patrick some lost socks.
Yep.
Yeah, Patrick has a lot of socks, and for someone who never wears them. There's I believe there's 80 socks all in all across all of the different worlds in the game. And yeah. So this is the Poseidon. This is the first major boss fight. There are 3 major boss fights. SpongeBob unlocks new abilities after the first 2 boss fights. So after this boss fight, we will unlock the Bubble Bowl, which is a bowling projectile that SpongeBob can use for a variety of different things, including some physics exploits later in the run that you will see.
I'm seeing chat say that we hit $1,000, yo.
Let's go!
Let's go, dude.
Let's go!
All right, that deserves
Huge.
a rubber chicken hog.
This is a...
All right, there you go.
All right, I will. I'm gonna check out some of these donations since this is a little bit of downtime. This is kind of like a 3-minute auto scroller segment, so
Yeah.
I'll read out some donos that we've gotten since we started the run. So. Thank you, Trisnell, for the 25. Thank you to Big Erp for the $25 donation. A very, very, very generous $200 donation from Cat Fancy. Wow, looking like Squilliam with that one. Thank you very much. Azul Tight for the $10. Thank you very much. Mosaic Owl for the $7.23 donation. Appreciate you. Super Naughty Moose for the $20. Appreciate you. Pinta Rider for the $30 donation. Thank you very much. And that was what got us to $1,000 for this event. You guys are super awesome.
Yeah, I think
it's been a blast watching all the runs for this event.
I've never seen such an electrifying man.
Yeah, you always hear in spirit. If you're not familiar, Rubbertoe has a track that he plays on his stream that kind of syncs up with the final hit. It's a fun time. So check out Rubbertoe's channel. Follow Rubbertoe if you want to see stuff like this, but even cooler.
Sure. My stream is an experience, I guess.
I can guarantee you will not see more entertaining SpongeBob.
Yeah, Pinta did it. He's the one who did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Yo song I play here tends to get like copyright claimed on YouTube, so I'm like, maybe I shouldn't play it here, but it's here in spirit.
I have a note here. Azultite told me to shout out Quickman14 and say, you better donate.
Oh, okay.
So I did that, yeah. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the areas in the game since we haven't yet, and there's a little bit more downtime. So we're going to go into Goo Lagoon. A lot of areas from the show are represented in this game. So we started in Jellyfish Fields. We go into downtown Bikini Bottom in early game. And to start mid game, we're going to go here into Goo Lagoon.
Rats. There's a one frame bash there that looks sick, but it's a one frame, so you know how that goes.
Alright, so Larry here is asking us to defeat a robot that we're going to sequence break using a really cool glitch called Sponge Glide. So basically, Sponge Glide is a glitch that uses the bubble bounce to lock in some damage boost momentum and causes SpongeBob to float basically in the direction of that momentum until he touches the ground again. So we're just kind of gonna, just glide over here, yeah. And defeat the robot early. And so now that we've defeated that robot, Mr. Krabs will grant us, or sorry, not Mr. Krabs, Larry is going to grant us a spatula as a reward that we'll come back to later. So we're basically doing Goo Lagoon backwards now. So this is actually the final area of Goo Lagoon. This is the pier. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. We're clearing out these robots to get a reward from Mr. Krabs very shortly.
There we go.
But this is where we're gonna see probably one of the most broken tricks in the run. This really changed the game when the community discovered it. This is skee ball abuse. So if you're a SpongeBob fan, you'll know what's coming up. But if you're not, skee ball abuse is basically a physics engine exploit that we're going to do. There's a skee ball machine on the pier that grants SpongeBob some shinies when he uses the bubble bowl to, play skee ball. And so what we're going to do is we're basically going to use some tikis to make the bowling ball hitbox flicker between the reward collision up to 60 times a second, which grants a lot of shinies. It's 900 shinies a second, so we're going to use this for a lot of things, most notably getting all the crab spatulas. For the viewer experience, we will be slightly lowering the sound effects volume.
Yeah.
But, true SpongeBob runners will turn their volume up. So
Let me lower it.
Yeah,
right now before.
Yeah, let's do it before.
Okay, lower it a little bit. Oh my god, okay. I know it's gonna take a little bit. There we go. Alright.
There we go. Big money. So this is basically going to help us get a lot of shinies really, really quickly. You need just over like 43,000.
Yes.
44,000 in order to get all of the crab spatulas in one go. So that's what this helps with. It saves a lot of time. You will see Rubbertoe kind of manipulating the camera. Basically, when the camera is a certain distance away, the bowling ball and the tikis and everything will call out and no longer grant any shinies. So it's very important that Rubbertoe lands at a total somewhere around 42 to 44,000 shinies in order to set up the second crab's duplication. Failing to do that will mess that up, so the number has to be very precise. So here Rubber's going to get a little bit of forward momentum with that bubble dash to the bubble bounce to get the spatula here without needing to use Patrick's ice pickup power-up ability, basically, where he can freeze goo, which is that freezy fruit that you see behind Spongebob right now.
All right, cool.
All right, so that was skee ball abuse. we can reset the audio now.
Yeah, there's a little cutscene skip coming up. I'll put the audio back up. Then.
Yeah, so we're gonna do this cutscene skip here to skip the pier basically breaking in half and collecting the Bumper Boats reward from Mr. Krabs. All right, and our Goo Lagoon backwards adventures continue. We're gonna go into the Goo Lagoon caves here. Basically, we just get to grab this spatula. And then that unlocks the warp for the beginning of the caves that we can just go to. All right, and it is time for Moat Early. So this trick, basically there's a little platforming section here where you purchase a clam with Patrick in order to unlock a button that you can hit with a watermelon fruit that Patrick can kind of throw around as a projectile. However, that button has its collision box active even when not shown, and so you can hit it with a really precise bubble bowl from Spongebob, and that will lower the goo and unlock the ability to get that spatula. Moat Early, and this is just claiming the tower spatula that we got from destroying the Hammerbot on the top of the boxes earlier in the Goo Lagoon run. All right, so we're getting close to setting up for the double dupe here for Mr. Krabs. First, we're gonna help Sandy with the robots in the tree dome. It's kind of a short combat section, similar to the Krusty Krab. All right, we're gonna get to see if. Okay, there we go. So that was a displacement bubble bowl, and that's a cutscene skip. And here is the Krabs double dupe. So I'll explain all this in a second. So basically, what Rubber does there is he performs a text box storage. So if you interrupt one of the NPCs on the frame that they begin talking to you, the text box will pop up after their damage animation completes. And so by talking to Mr. Krabs after talking to Bubble Buddy and storing Bubble Buddy's text box, Bubble Buddy's text will interrupt Mr. Krabs' text after you purchase his spatula, which basically prevents the game from updating the flags for Mr. Krabs saying how many spatulas you've gotten, which allows us to duplicate a second spatula. That will require us to reset the count again later in the run. Typically that happens in late game after we get to talk to Mr. Krabs sometime between Kelp Forest. And yeah, so these are some damage boosts. There's a lot of fun damage boosts, Sleepy Skip and Bathroom Boost, as you have seen. And we're going to go back into Dream to perform a couple more. This is one frame Forbidden Skip. That's a one frame first try. It's called Forbidden Skip. It was thought to be basically TAS only for a long time until people figured out a more consistent setup for it. So now it's still called Forbidden Skip, but it's not forbidden because everyone does it. And here we're going to do Oil Skip, which is another damage boost. It's going to get us across here. That's another one frame. There is a non-one frame setup, but it's optimal to get the one frame setup so that you can save a load. So here Rubber's going to do the non-one frame setup.
Yeah, there we go.
And there we go. So that's a pretty precise damage boost. You kind of have to stand in the right spot and manipulate the oil bot in a certain way. So and then we're going to talk to Patrick.
Pat? Just
all right, so we're coming up on
yeah.
the final. Honestly, this run is pretty good.
Yeah, this run's been pretty freaking solid.
Run, yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna cash out all of the Mr. Krabs spats here in order to get you know, another 8 spatulas to unlock the next boss. So the next major boss is going to be an industrial park. This is Robo Patrick. So you'll check that out in a second.
Okay.
All right, you're doing great.
Yeah, this run's been pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So.
Yeah, you should be. I don't think I have to stress like Rubber has not been going for marathon safe strats, but that's just because Rubbertoe is just so good. So Rubber, how long have you been running the game?
Let's see. I started in 2017, so what is that? 8 years?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah. So it's been a while.
Like I was saying earlier, yeah, you've been number 2 for like almost 6 years now.
Well, I did get bopped like 2-3 years ago, but then I bopped them back. So.
Yeah, that it doesn't count if you bop them back.
Shoutouts to Smiley and Orion for bopping me, and then bringing me back because they bopped me. Because I do tend to take some big breaks, but it's fun. So
I think you kind of have to with this game. So if you guys have been enjoying the run so far, I definitely this is I would say try this at home, but don't try this in runs. A lot of these strats are really fun to do and to try and to play with. So anything you see here, I definitely encourage you to try to do it. But to do this stuff in runs takes a lot of practice. So there is a beginner any % tutorial. It was made by Shift. You can find it on YouTube, and it's a really good comprehensive tutorial that you can use to get a time under 1 hour. So the world record right now currently is sitting under 41 minutes. Or sorry, almost. And yeah, I don't want to get that wrong. It's almost under 41 minutes. And so getting a time under an hour is a pretty cool feat. So I would say it's a pretty accessible tutorial. I definitely recommend everyone check it out if you're interested in trying out the run or any of the tricks from the run. A lot of them are covered in there, as well as some other cool ones that are a little bit easier to execute.
Yeah, it's a really comprehensive tutorial, so it's definitely recommended.
Yeah, Shift put a lot of time into that one, and it definitely shows.
One more douse with that stuff, and Spongebob will be back in the ring.
This is a good downtime, so if anyone has any more donations, this is definitely a great time for them to get read.
Or any questions about the run too, I'd say.
Yeah.
Am I gonna answer them? Probably not, because you got this, right, Justin? You got this.
Yeah, that's actually a minor cutscene skip there. Or sorry, yeah. So basically, by delaying, when we skip the cutscene, we skip one of the Robo Patrick attacks. This section is another small RNG segment in the run. Patrick's speed is actually RNG for this, so where he ends up is a little bit inconsistent, even though we have ways of kind of mitigating that. But
what? Okay.
Shout outs to Flare Star for the $10 donation.
Hey.
Much appreciated. I got a big shout out the Battle for Bikini Bottom community for coming out and helping us get over $1,000 for Child's Play. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys very much.
So I'm actually going to start talking about this now because I learned while preparing for this that there's a lot to talk about. So in this last section of the run, so here Patrick gives us the cruise bubble. So that's basically a remote control projectile that SpongeBob can use to deal damage, hit buttons at range, and so on. And it unlocks this really cool, weird trick called cruise boosting. So I would say Battle for Bikini Bottom is kind of iconic for this trick. So cruise boosting is a glitch which uses frame perfect inputs to add the forward speed SpongeBob gains during a bubble bowl to his base movement speed. So this allows for a lot of new movement options. He can move during his bubble bounce and bubble bash attacks, which basically give him some extra ways to gain height while moving, as well as kind of delaying his falls. And so you can see already, it really changes how we interact with all the levels and things like that. So we're going to go into Sand Mountain here and use the route's first uncapped cruise boost. So basically, an uncapped cruise boost is a displacement cruise boost, which instead of using the bowling ball speed, we're going to use the displacement from these tikis. And that's a one frame, by the way, a voxel perfect one frame, angle perfect, first try.
Let's go, dude.
Wow. So this is, if you saw Rubbertoe moving at the beginning of Sand Mountain, it looks fast. That is a 5-speed cruise boost. This is at least like 7 times faster than that. So with uncapped cruise boosts, we're able to achieve speeds that let you clip through. But it's broken. You can see it's broken.
So I actually got the speed that's a little too fast for this segment, but that's okay. We're still good. Usually you want to get 31 speed, but I think I got the 37 speed one. So yeah, there's such a thing as going too fast for some segments.
Yes. Yeah. So basically the way uncapped cruise boosts work, and we're gonna use another one. So, we're gonna use a displacement cruise boost coming up. But basically, uncapped cruise boosts are a somewhat recent discovery from the community, basically exploiting caps on SpongeBob's movement speed using a jump and then a spin. Displacement cruise boosts like this one, where SpongeBob gets some speed from falling off a ledge for a frame, which there it is, second try. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
They give SpongeBob a lot of speed, but without capping SpongeBob's base movement speed, you can basically like clip through the tikis and end up going so fast that the cruise the cruise bubble doesn't come out, which prevents SpongeBob from storing that speed into something he can use for his cruise boost. So uncapped cruise boosts basically give us a way to get faster DCB speeds and go insanely fast. And there's the Guppy ledge cruise boost. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That was pretty good.
That was clean.
First try. Yeah, first try Sand Mountain UCB. Second try Guppy LCB. Really, really, really good. All right, so now we're gonna go into the Mermalair. There's no uncapped cruise boost in Mermalair. That would be pretty funny. But there are a lot of cruise boost movement opportunities. So here we're gonna go through them. So you might see it get used here. No, so there is this trick called text box iframes, where for a little bit after SpongeBob like closes a text box, the game doesn't actually damage him or anything, because it's still ending his cutscene update for the text box. So you can use that to kind of get through certain obstacles with cruise boosts. He won't take damage during cutscenes either. So if you are in a cutscene with a cruise boost, you can move during the cutscene basically, and that can be useful sometimes. So that was a lag bash. So basically, by kind of manipulating the camera to introduce a little bit of lag, the delta time for the game gets changed so that SpongeBob gains just enough height to get over that ledge there, which you can't normally do. You do normally need to use a cruise boost. So this is the first boss skip that we're going to do. This is Prawn Skip. Each of the minor bosses has a debug trigger out of bounds right above where SpongeBob spawns, and by touching it, we're able to instantaneously complete the run, or sorry, complete the boss fight, and collect the spatula that you get from defeating the boss.
I'll have to collect that spatula later.
Yeah. So there's a optional cutscene skip that Rubber attempted to do. He missed it, so we collect it later. But basically, you can carry the spatula get cutscene into the next level if you load the loading zone on the same frame as you get the spatula, essentially. And it's a 1 frame, so you know sometimes it gets missed, so we'll come back for it.
Yep.
All right, Rubber's gonna go for another displacement bubble bow boost. So you saw that going into rock bottom, but basically the tikis will move him forward for a frame.
Again,
it is a 1 frame, and it is pretty tight.
Yes, dude.
There it is. Second try. Still fast, I think, on second try too.
Woo.
And that was ballroom clip. So basically, ballroom clip works by performing an L clip. So SpongeBob essentially gets a little bit of cruise boost speed, and then that kind of makes the physics engine tweak. So sometimes when there's little corners or places where the geometry meets, you can just spam L. Or in that case, it's a little bit more precise because the glass is pretty tight geometry. You can input a cruise boost and kind of tweak SpongeBob's angle in order to assist in clipping through the geometry. So that was a pretty precise 1 frame. But the good news for beginners is that you can kind of retry it over and over again as you need to. But Rubber doesn't need to because he's really good at the game. All right, here's another displacement cruise boost. So this is going to be the Kelp Forest LCB. This is a pretty kind of weird one, so let's see if we can get it.
There we go. Okay.
And there we go. So we're going to go really fast through the Kelp Forest, hitting a bunch of geometry to help us get through some stuff here. We talked to Mrs. Puff there in order to unlock a warp that we're going to use for the collectible counter of use that I mentioned earlier in the run, so I'll kind of get back into that as it becomes relevant here in the late game of the run. And you can see there that SpongeBob was just really happy to make it. That was a cutscene storage that basically stored the spatula get animation. So now we're doing Kelp Forest backwards. We're in the Kelp Vine slide. This is basically like a time slide that we kind of skip by doing it backwards, collecting a trigger. The teleport boxes that are used basically throughout the game to help SpongeBob move through the levels a little easier. A lot of them, if you open the back one at the end of the level, it will open the one at the beginning of the level, which can be used to help with these sequence breaks. So that's kind of how we get through this part. And then we're going to go through the Kelp Caves backwards. Hey, kid moment.
Hey.
There we go. Shout out to Barnacle Boy.
And this is just kind of casual. Just hitting the button to open this cage here.
Yeah, usually you do this with Patrick and the Freezy Fruit, similar to how you might do it in Goo Lagoon, like I mentioned. But here we're able to just use the cruise bubble and activate these cage remotely, and then with a little bit of precise platforming, collect the spatula without getting the cutscene. All right. So now we're going to go into downtown briefly to collect the 6th wheel. And this is going to allow us to do CCA. So this is a 1 frame. Rubbertoe is going to use the cruise bubble on the frame that he enters, and he gets it. So you can see that Mrs. Puff wants 6 pieces of art, which just happens to match the 6 wheels that we got in downtown. So I'm going to explain CCA a little bit more in detail, but first we're going to help Rubber, send him some energy. Here's another UCB. We're going to do it. We have time for...
Yeah, we have time. We have time.
Several tries. We're doing really good on time, so we've got some time, but this is a really precise setup that he's trying to do. This one's pretty tough, so send your energy. There we go. 2nd try! Let's go. He's a hero, chat. So this is the museumless routing of Rock Bottom, and he's not out of the woods yet. There's still some precise platforming. There's some backups if we need, but you know, Rubbertoe's so good, I don't doubt that we might not. So this is kind of going to be some precise platforming to... with Spongebob moving so fast, it took a lot of research to kind of figure out a route here. Can you hit the button? And he gets the button too.
Dude.
Let's go. First try, museumless. Really good stuff. Yeah, you can see with how fast SpongeBob is moving that all of the movement needs to be pre-planned ahead of time. And you have the perfect amount for talking to Mr. Krabs here. All right, so here's another CCA. So basically, when SpongeBob loads into the level, the counter takes a frame to update. But if you activate the cruise bubble on that frame, basically what happens is that the game uses a separate update function, which prevents the collectible counter from being updated until SpongeBob is actionable again. And by talking to an NPC shortly who requires collectibles shortly after performing that, you're able to take advantage of the unupdated collectible counter and carry it over into another area. And that's just clean movement with an L control. That's a one frame for fun. If you hit L on the same frame that you touch a spatula, you're able to control the camera. There we go. And that's our reward for the second Krabs dupe. And that's all the Mr. Krabs work that we've got. And now it's just one area left. And that is the Flying Dutchman's Graveyard. So this is definitely one of the more involved parts of the run. There's one more UCB that we're going to do here.
Okay. I have time,
I'm manifesting second try. Yeah, I'm manifesting. This is a really good run, so I'm manifesting second try.
Let's go.
All right, second try. Let's go. So this is the tankerless routing for the Dutchman's Graveyard. SpongeBob is moving so fast that he can just clip through things with these UCBs. So typically you would need to activate a clam event in order to lower the sludge, basically, and grab the open up and grab the spatula inside of that cage. But because we're moving so fast, we can just clip through it. And here we go. We're gonna get a prop bounce there, which basically lets us get a bubble bounce off of some geometry that doesn't look like it's under SpongeBob, to allow us to get a bubble bounce there and get some extra distance. Very nice.
Nice, dude.
First try tankless. That's pretty clean. All right, he's gonna go for a little strat here.
No.
That's okay.
My favorite part.
Squidward is an awkward cruise boosting surface.
Yeah. All right.
So cruise boosts have to take place against the surface, or else SpongeBob's forward momentum it can be too much, and then the cruise bubble won't come out. So it's important that cruise boosts occur against surfaces at higher speeds. All right, so we're gonna do. That's another sequence break there. So he basically grabs the shipwreck bungee spatula, which allows him to skip a lot of platforming and kind of work to the end of the area. And a little bit of tight platforming against some clip geometry with the El Control.
El Control. Yeah.
That'll allow us to finish that area lickety-split. All right, this is the final spatula of the run that's not for a boss fight or a trade-in. So here we're going to hit a few cannons to... basically, the Flying Dutchman wants you to attack the robot ship across the way. So we're going to activate those. We're not going to actually activate the cannons to fire on that ship. Doing so does unlock the Dutchman boss fight early due to an oversight by the developers. Basically, the warp that you would get if the cannon successfully destroyed the ship still unlocks if you unsuccessfully destroy the ship. But we don't need that because this route is so fast with the UCBs that spatula is slow, even though it's only like a 40-second spatula. So that gives you an idea of how fast this run is.
Let's go!
All right. So that was a cutscene skip, 1 frame. That was a really tight one. So, we love to see it. And there's one more spatula left to grab, and we get it, and it'll end us up right by the door. That'll allow us to skip this cutscene too. Not fully skip, but it does kind of lower the time. And we're going to go into the first SpongeBob fight. So, unlike the other major bosses, which have no debug triggers, this fight does have a debug trigger. It's kind of hard to hit, so we need to do a little bit of setup where we activate this chop, and then that'll give us enough height to hit the debug trigger and skip the first phase. There is no such trigger for the second phase, so all that Rubbertoe can do is do some sick platforming in order to sequence break. So we're going to try to clip into the brain here, and that's going to skip a lot of time. So this is called fast brain. Basically, we come up here, we land on the TV monitor, and then we come over here to this spot where we can get a good clip through. We clip in, and then this brain bowl is a really precise, like angle, position perfect. There's a little bit of leeway, but it's really tight, and that allows us to bowl through the tube, and that is time.
Wow.
and that is SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom in 44 minutes and 37 seconds.
That was really good. That was actually really good. Oh my gosh.
So that was how far off that was your PB? Like how far was your PB?
I have a 43:13, so about a minute 20-ish. Right?
So Rubber just played. Rubber just ran a minute off of his PB in a marathon run. Oh my God! Chat, can we get some love for Rubbertoe?
Oh my!
Please give me some freaking love for this.
This happens so often that I'm playing so bad for like a week before the marathon, and then the marathon happens, and it's like a good run. Now do the run
was
for
really,
real.
really
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
Oh my goodness! How you feel? How you feel about that?
That feels good. That feels really good. That I got so many of these tricks like second try, dude. Like, I was expecting to be sitting there for like 5 minutes on a few of them. Well, it feels good.
Yeah, that was really good. All right, I'm just clearing with the event staff, but you finished so fast. We have a little bit of extra time.
Yeah, we got about like
we're gonna
what,
see,
10 minutes? I think?
So we've got a few things that we want to show you guys. Yeah, so we're good, Rubber. So if you want to, we've got a little bit of extra time. So with that extra time, this game is still really broken, as you've seen. So we're gonna do some trick showcasing, stuff that's either not really useful for the run but still funny, or is useful for the run but it doesn't get used in this particular route. So I'll leave it up to you, Rubber. I know there's one thing that you want to show that we talked about.
Yeah, the main one is here. It's really funny and weird looking.
I'll let you describe it since you were so focused on the run, you couldn't get a lot of airtime.
Yeah, so I don't know why this works, but for some reason going into the center of a swinger here, and then going upside down on it causes some weird shenanigans to happen with Sandy's models. I'm going to try to get in the center as much as I can and then climb up on this swinger. You can see some effects already starting. She's going to start turning. I actually got so centered that she couldn't grab onto the swinger anymore, so that's an interesting side effect.
Really funny.
So I'm going to try again. Hopefully I can get it to stick. Because you can get this weird effect to stick.
There you go. I think you got it.
Not quite. Almost there, though. I'm pretty sure. Oh my god. She's like so close, dude. You can see she's like upside down, but then she starts freaking out. There we go. So
there we go.
You can see the lasso is going really, really far off in the distance. Oh, Plankton! No, he got me stuck, dude. No. Well.
Sandy is like, so I think she's existing at like, or like her hitbox is existing at every point in space.
Yeah.
Like you can hit stuff from here, so it is possible to hit buttons and stuff that are in the distance using this.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you can't collect spatulas like this because your hitbox is still like centered, I guess, here, but your actual like punching and stuff does get stretched. Maybe I can try showing it off again because we do have a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm keeping track of time. You still got like 8 minutes.
Okay, I'll do it again.
Yeah, paper sand is sick. Is there anything else we should show off that I was thinking of?
Maybe some of the BBJs that look cool because you go really fast.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe like a Smurfs BBG.
Yeah, because this takes quite a while to set up. So
but you could try Fast Nut as well.
Oh yeah, let me use practice mode.
Yeah, for the Fast Nut for the people. Yeah.
Just practice.
So we're gonna load up. There's a practice mod for this game, developed by Fuse, Siweiss, and Daft7.
Show off the fish lady. Is that? Can I do that? Am I allowed?
I don't know what that one is, so I'll leave that to your discretion.
I won't show off the fish lady.
I don't know if I'm taking requests from chat.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Let's do Fast Note first.
All right, so this is a pretty precise. This used to be used in runs a lot before the UCVs were found. This is a really high, like top level runner strat. So it kind of involves some precise movement and a one frame here, which he got because he's rubber toe. To get a bash before the coyote time ends, for like a frame, you can use that bash. So it's really precise, and you can use that as an alternative strategy to skip the nut. These are all 1 frames, by the way, or it's 2 frames, I think. Actually,
no, these ones they're not 1 frames, but you do have to do super short hops, which are kind of hard to do up a slide. The slide is trying to force me down, but with the cruise boost, we're able to actually just climb up it. Yeah,
the cruise boosting allows a lot of really broken movement. Oh, Hans. All right, so this is a that is a
let's go.
Bubble boost jump. So basically, when Hans grabs you, if you input a bubble bowl on the frame that he drops you, that happens. So you can see at the bottom right. The practice mod lets you see the speed, but basically it gives you an insane game-breaking amount of speed. So there you saw the bowl speed was like 15,000, which is like orders of magnitude greater than the standard 5-speed cruise boost. And so you get a lot of speed, which you gain mostly when you jump, because SpongeBob's fall speed, like fall movement, is basically capped. Whereas jumping, for some reason they decided it was okay to apply a lot of speed there. So.
There's another cool one here that I like showing off. Alright, let's see.
Can you hit the 1 frame?
Ah, the text! I need to get rid of that text. E. Okay.
E.
Yeah, these BBJs are mostly used in 100%. But they're really cool to show off. Damn it. It is a 1 frame, so let's see. I want to try to get a bash out of that so I can get carried all the way to the end. There we go. Get carried all the way over here, and then you can do some platforming to just cut straight to here. Very cool. Very interesting.
Yep. All right, and that's our time. So we appreciate everyone, all the staff for running the event. Thank you so much for your effort. Thank you so much for everyone who tuned in for the run. You guys are super duper awesome. Check out rubbertoe64 if you want to see more runs like this. He's clearly going to PB sometime soon if this is what he busts out in a marathon. So come check out his streams. They're super entertaining. And yeah, I've been Jessway. Check out the D comp for this game if you want. to do that. That's really cool. And yeah, thanks so much, folks. That has been me and Rubber.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, everyone, for donating. BFB community, y'all are sick. And here's a rubber chicken again, just in case you missed it. There you go.
I cut out. Rip.
Yeah, Discord doesn't make you go through, but yeah. Thank you.